This is number 2, recording number 2. Don't know if I've got enough battery. This is a very short one. It is 9:15. It is 2/23/2021, and the name of this one is Feedback. And Feedback was wrote by Dennis E. Taylor. And Dennis E. Taylor has wrote some interesting things, such as the Bobiverse series and Singularity Trap and Outland. So, with that right there out of the way, the production was good. I almost forgot the narrator. Ray Porter. Ray Porter? Good job. Well done, sir. Now, this is a very short audiobook, and it really couldn't be considered a book. I don't think it should be a short story because I think it's only 30 minutes long. So, yeah, that was fairly easy to get through, but it was interesting. And the premises was time there. Well, if I had time travel, I could go back and correct what I just did, right? Well, maybe. Just depends. And that's what the book is about, is time travel. So there's a couple of scientists. One of them comes up with this formula that explains the 12 dimensions and the flow of time. And so he wants to test it. He has a colleague that he's working with, and he's like, hey, would you mind checking my formula? And they do, and then things start to go really awry. This is within the lanes of what we usually do talk about, just because of the premises of the literature of which this short story is. So basically, 30 minutes isn't a long time to really get to know a character at all, but it can it works. It just does in this, because there's a lot of generalities around the people, but you get just enough to kind of be able to relate. Just enough. Enough. Now, is this book worth your time, efforts, and energies? I feel like Dennis E. Taylor's works, or if you like paradox type things, or time travel, it might be. It's a good little side jump. It's just a step to your left, right? But it's a decent story, because the guy gets himself in a pretty bad situation because, for whatever reason, the characters decide to do something outside of what characters would normally do, which I am a fan of in a big way. You have to forgive me. I still haven't run to get breakfast, even though this is probably going to come out before or after the other video, and maybe in the middle of the week or a couple weeks from then. But, you know, if I'm complaining about not having breakfast in a couple of videos, you'll know why. Because it's the same morning. It's the morning. Yay! But I digress. Big fan of that. Big fan of characters not doing what you would think they would do. Let me expound, if you don't mind. So essentially, this guy that comes up with the formula, right? He's married, and his wife decides that whenever he goes to do this experiment that is going to involve time travel, it's going to send this thing somewhere, that she's immediately going to turn it off as soon as it leaves. There's a particular behavior in that whenever they do send it, it shows up, and then after it shows up, then the other one disappears a couple seconds after the fact. So she keeps trying to figure out ways to break it, and this causes the problem. But without that behavior, then the short story wouldn't exist. Now, let me check something. Am I still in any kind of focus here, or do things go all kinds of wonky? Do I need to refocus? I would love to see. Where's my... I might not be in focus. Go work, man. Come here, man. Time-honored tradition. Come on, go work. There we go. Now, looks like he's in focus. Now he is. All right, go work, man. Back in your cage. And I need this. All right, guys. Sorry about that, but I had to, because I didn't see the stuff that tells me that that's in focus. All right, so starting back from that. Okay, so as I was saying before, we had some technical difficulties there. I really like it whenever characters do things that they're not supposed to do, or you would think that they wouldn't do, because, well, it's interesting. Perfect example of this is this book. Well, I mean, really. Or, you know, the author saying, hey, there's a big red shiny button. Don't push the button. And what do you expect me to do? Tap dance. I'm on your button. But that's kind of what this character does. So you got the two scientists, the one that came up with the formula, the one that's double checking the formula, right? And then we've got the one that came up with the formula, he's married. And his wife is the one that comes in because she's the mathematician of the university. And so he wants his wife to go over the math to make sure that it's okay. And she does. And she says, from a purely mathematical standpoint, you're on point. What's it do? And that's where it gets interesting, because whenever they go to show her, yes, we've already tested it, yes, it actually kind of does its thing, she decides as soon as he sends it, she's going to turn off the device. She's just going to flop, button done, it's over. And this is where some interesting things start to happen. We start to see there might be consequence, there may not be consequence. And because of that, there's these things that keep happening to prevent that from being interrupted. And they also have a like iteration counter. So every time that something happens or it loops, it counts up. Things are not adding up mathematically because this thing is being sent more times than what they have actually sent it. So that's where the thing starts to get interesting, is that part of the story where they're trying to figure out why this is happening, what's causing this, you know, is there this, or this, and then some bad things happen, and then they have to resolve it. And so, with that being said, it's really kind of interesting to see that unfold. Is it your typical paradox type of a situation? No, it's not. But I do like Occam's razor, and so this book really hits that little funny bone. So, do I recommend this book to you? If you like sci-fi and you like time travel, this may be something that you would want to check out. I'm not going to say it's for everybody. I'm not going to say that it is the most eloquently wrote short story that I've ever come across, and this is indeed the American dream of sci-fi literature. No. But I am going to say it was enjoyable. It was good. And of course the narrator did a good job of it, as always. So if you wouldn't mind, please, yes you, I see you, would you please put the interesting comments up on the screen? You will? Thank you. High five? Ooh, okay. Back you go. Cool. Now, we'll see if that makes it in. Yeah. But anyway, so everything aside, those are the most interesting comments. Thank you so much. I do my best to try to keep up with two companies and this. And so if I'm a little late on replies, I'm sorry, but I will. So thank you. Thank you very much. If you made it this far, you are my heroes. All of you. Look at me. I've got really long arms. But thank you so much for watching. It's very much appreciated. And I don't know which one of the two videos that are coming in you would happen to pick. But if you choose one of these over here, then I will see you, I'm going to have that looked at, in the next video.